How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Through an up and down beginning to the year, the Lakers have still shown a lot of good signs and have showed off the depth of their team, and their depth may be one of the main reasons why they could be the number one seed again in the Western Conference. We'll go over why I believe they have the ability to do this, even with potentially resting LeBron and AD for multiple games here and there. The first thing we'll go over is their ability to rest their players due to the depth of their team. Even if they do decide to rest LeBron and AD for multiple games here and there, they've already shown they have multiple players who can pick up the slack when they're out for a game or two. When AD sat out in the game against the Timberwolves, they had multiple big contributions from other players. In that game in particular, Kuzma picked it up and led the team in scoring with 20 points. And Kuzma isn't a stranger to doing that when either LeBron or AD sit out for a game. He had his best games of the year last year when either LeBron, AD, or both missed a game. Kuzma is one of the primary reasons why I believe they feel comfortable letting LeBron or AD sit out for a game with only a minor injury that they could probably play through anyway. But along with Kuzma, they also have other players who can really pick it up too. Against the Timberwolves, it wasn't only Kuzma who played well. Marc Gasol took advantage of getting the ball more as well too. He had nearly a triple-double in only 20 minutes of playing time, blocked 4 shots, and really showed that he can definitely contribute to a team on both ends of the floor yet. And then when they still have guys like Montrezl Harrel, Schroder, and even Talen Horton who are all capable of having big games, they feel likely very comfortable with their depth, even with LeBron or AD missing a game or two here and there. Each of them could go off for 20 points or more on any given night. Because even with LeBron and AD on the floor, Schroder will still lead the team in scoring at times. He is arguably the best and most creative shot creator on the whole team. Adding him will help LeBron and AD not take on the entire scoring burden again, much like they had to do last year. He is not only capable of leading the team in scoring on any given night, but he is also capable of running the offense if LeBron has to miss a game as well. With all of their depth, the Lakers are legitimately 10 players deep in their rotation every game. One of the main issues they have yet is trying to figure out all of the correct rotations and minute distribution because all of the talent they have on the team. The emergence of Talen Horton created a good problem for them to have, as he is now part of their regular rotation too, getting about 10 minutes or more every game. And the thing is, they could potentially add another player to their team yet too. If you didn't know, they actually still have an incomplete roster, even with all of the depth they already have. They only have 14 players currently signed to their team, with 2 additional two-way contract players in Devontae Cacok and Kostas Antetokounmpo. They weren't able to add the final player to their team due to needing to stay under the hard cap, which wouldn't have been possible if they added a 15th player. However, in mid-January, they will be eligible to add that 15th player due to the mid-season minimum contracts not being guaranteed as much money. This will allow them to add a 15th player with a free agent of their choosing, allowing them to even add more depth at whatever position they feel needs another player at. And even in mid-January, there will still be a few noteworthy names that will likely be available that could help the team, as there are currently still veteran players available like Dwayne Dedmon, John Henson, Courtney Lee, Gerald Green, and more, all of which could potentially help the team by adding either another center to the team or more shooting and defense, both of which are arguably still needs that the team currently has. They will use this time until then to determine what kind of player they will need to add to the team to fill out the final remaining need. Or they could even choose to wait a little bit longer than mid-January to add that final player to their team, which will allow them to keep an open spot on their team for any potential buyout candidates. Usually beginning in February until the team buyout deadline, teams will buy out players out of their current contracts, which often attracts contending teams looking to add another player to fill a final hole on their team. And for the Lakers, they may have their eye on potential buyout candidates like Trevor Ariza, George Hill, Garrett Temple, and more. Adding a talented veteran player like one of them could add even more depth to their team and make them even tougher. With all of the depth that they already have, and with them eventually adding another player to fill a hole in their team, they will have a team built to win in both the regular season and the playoffs. The next reason why I believe they will get the number 1 seed is because of their youth and new younger additions to the team. Last year, the Lakers were one of the oldest teams in the entire league, which, although that wasn't a problem in winning a championship, it did put more of a burden on LeBron and AD at times in the regular season. However, with their team now, that won't be the case. Not only did they retain 3 of the younger players in their rotation from last year in Caldwell Pope, Caruso, and Kyle Kuzma, but they also added Schroder and Montrezl Harrel, both of which are 27 years old or younger. Along with that, they also developed Talen Horton enough to be part of their regular rotation, who is only 20 years old. This added youth will make getting through the regular season a lot easier on LeBron and AD, and allow them to be fresh going into the playoffs without even having to sacrifice games along the way. All of that young talent that they have a part of their rotation will not only help keep LeBron and AD healthy for when it truly matters, but they'll help them win games while doing it to be able to get the number 1 seed. Like we talked about before, each of these guys can lead the team on offense on any given night, and that's something that they really didn't have last year, which made it harder to give LeBron and AD regular rest. And even if that doesn't mean actually sitting LeBron or AD out for a whole game, it will allow them to decrease their minutes per game, and we've already seen that in action. Neither LeBron or AD had played over 32 minutes in a game until the 4th game of the year, and even though they had gotten beat twice in those games, they were in a position to win in each game, even while not overplaying anyone on their team. They are still figuring out the rotation, but at the very least they have shown to be capable of winning, even when LeBron or AD are playing less. Finally, the last reason I have for why I believe they'll get the number 1 seed is because I feel like their top competition compared to last year actually got a little bit worse. The number 2 and number 3 seed in the Western Conference last year respectively belonged to the Clippers and Nuggets. However, I feel like both teams either got a little bit worse or also made new additions to their team that will take a little bit of time to build team chemistry again. And with the Clippers in particular, we know how often they load manage players on their team like Kawhi Leonard, which hurts their odds of getting the number 1 seed. And with the Nuggets, they did lose Jeremy Grant and are relying on their younger players more now than they did last year, which I believe will take time before they can really start to mesh as a team again. And with the Clippers and Nuggets being regarded by most as their top competition, I don't really see either beating out the Lakers for the number 1 seed. Maybe a team like Phoenix or Portland could surprise everyone and be better than we thought, but I still don't see it being very likely that any other team will beat them out over the course of 72 games. And you better believe that the Lakers will be trying to get that top seed again, as they know they will actually get to use their home court advantage this time around, and by the time the playoffs come around, fans may be allowed back into games even. All of that will motivate them to try to get the number 1 seed, and I believe they will have the highest chance of being able to get it. Overall, even with them likely load managing LeBron and AD more compared to last year, I still don't think any other team has a higher chance of beating them out for the number 1 seed. They really just have too much depth and young talent in their rotation to make me think otherwise. They have a very well-rounded team, and like mentioned before, even have one more spot available on their team to add another position of need. What do you guys think? Do you think the Lakers will push hard again to try and get the number 1 seed, or do you think that a different team will beat them out for it? Let me know what you think by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you to everyone who took the time to watch till the end of the video. I truly appreciate all of you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please remember to drop a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.